Good evening. Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, Ashley Live, and this is episode 172 of my show. My guest this evening is the beautiful and talented powerhouse singer-songwriter Carolina Rial. This is the third time that she's been on my show. So Carolina was on my show, episode 98, which was July 21st. Then February 5th, episode 143. So what can I say about Carolina that hasn't already been said before? She's been posting her covers on social media for years. In 2021, she was featured on season 20 of NBC's hit show, The Voice. She was on Team John Legend, and she finished in the top 20. Now, Carolina just released her latest single, Dear High School, that came out June 30th, and she's coming on my show to talk all about it. So guys, she's gonna come in the house and she's gonna talk all about the show, and she's going to sing Dear High School. Hey guys, how we doing? Music Lover says, we love Carolina. We sure do. We sure do. Carolina is absolutely amazing, and I'm so excited that she's coming back on my show. She's had so much going on in the past couple months. She graduated high school. She released this song. She's going to be going to NYU next month, and she's traveling. She's doing shows. She has a crazy presence on social media, here on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere, and I'm so happy she's taking some time out of her day to come talk to me about the new song. So whenever you're ready, Carolina, come on in and let's get this party started. Hey guys, how we feeling? How is everyone's summer going? Can't believe it's already July. We're like halfway through the summer. It's crazy. Hello, hello. And I just pinned the comment. Stream Dear High School. It's out now. Add it to your playlists. Hey guys, how we feeling? How we doing? Hi Andrew. How are you? Hello, hello. Hi Carolina.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How's everything going with you?
Good. Very good.
Awesome. I just want to say, you have been rocking it. And I'm so happy that you've taken the time out of your busy schedule to come talk to me about this new single, Dear High School.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for having me. I always love being on your show because it's like I'm just having a conversation with somebody.
That's what I aim for. It's just like a fun conversation. We talk about music, we have a good time, and we have people watching us.
Yeah,
right?
essentially, yeah.
Awesome. So this new single came out June 30th. You just graduated from high school, so congrats. Let's talk about the inspiration behind Dear High School.
So I've always wanted to write a song that kind of a lot of people could relate to. And I know that like that's every musician's goal. But with Dear High School, it's like anybody who just was a student in general during COVID, like knows exactly what I'm talking about. The feeling of sometimes I still feel like I'm a sophomore, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm going to college and yeah, my life is moving on, but it doesn't seem real until it happens. Which is the reason why I wanted to write a song where people could relate to that. Yeah, I mean, it's weird going to college now. I feel like COVID, it kind of, I don't know, it just took so much time away from everybody, and just like it, in a way, like pushed you to grow up faster than you ever wanted to.
Yeah, because it's like, who would have ever thought in our lifetime that we would have to like stay indoors and not see people that we know? We can't hug people. Like, we just didn't even know what was going on. So like to be in high school where like you go to school every day and you see people and you see your teachers, and then to kind of like work from the house every day and try to do your studies there has got to be so difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird because like we didn't really see anybody either in person, and I mean, it's a little bit even weirder for me personally because I was on The Voice when this was all going on, and like I wasn't even I wasn't even in school, but I wasn't even in not the country, the state, you know? I was on the whole other side of the country.
Right.
And the funniest part is that I would be on like Zooms and stuff, and people wouldn't even know where I was the whole time.
Yeah, that's wild because obviously there's a time when you're on The Voice that you are not able to tell anybody that you know that you're on this show because you're doing it in secrecy. And then they say, okay, everybody's on this season can finally release it to the world because how long did you keep it a secret for?
Oh my gosh. It seems like forever, but I think like, so I found it in April, May, June, July, August, September, November, December, like 8 months, I think.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
It was a long time, and I remember the day that they told us we could spill the tea to the public. Oh my God. Everybody was freaking out. And it was like earlier than expected. We were all like,
yeah.
Oh, like we're going to release the news like on this day. And they were like, no, you could do it actually in 2 days. And we were all like, no way. Because that was like the hardest thing to keep a secret. After a while, obviously it just became like second nature. I was like, let me just not talk about that. But when I was able to share that with people, it was like, it just felt so freeing, you know?
You're keeping it in for such a long time, and for someone who's on social media as much as you are, like it's got to be weird to be like, okay, so when I post these videos I have to pretend like I'm at home but I'm not like on this show.
I know it was so hard too because producers would tell us, they would be like, just be careful like where you post,
right?
Like don't even post in your hotel room because people will know you're in a hotel room. And like I'm from Jersey, and obviously there's no palm trees here or anything. And if I were posting with palm trees in the background, people know I'm not in Jersey.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was like tricky to kind of go around. But I remember at that time I wasn't posting too much on social media anyway, just because like I wanted to like reel it all in before I let everybody know.
Yeah, totally. And it's like you also have to be like in that experience, because the thing is sometimes when we tend to be on our shows, like a show like that, it's kind of like you blink and then you're like, whoa, what just happened? Now like the show's over.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because people don't see the behind the scenes, you know, all the steps that go in the show before you get on it. And they're like, oh, you're just on The Voice just like that? And it's like, no, you haven't seen half of it. Yeah, that was crazy.
So, okay, so when did the writing of this song start? Like, what was it when you were in LA for The Voice?
For Dear High School? No, actually, it was so quick. I had always had this idea that I wanted to do a song called Dear High School, and I wanted to, you know, write specifically about this. But I asked my friend who's also my co-writer on this, her name is Anna Klein. I sent her the idea, and it was like, I think a couple weeks before my graduation in May, actually. And I was like, Anna, I really want to write this song. I've been wanting to write it for a while. Let's book a session ASAP. And she was like, oh my gosh, yeah. So like literally the next day we took the idea and sat down, well, virtually sat down and just got on it. And yeah, and then it's interesting because music, for a lot of people that don't know, music takes a long time to develop and distribute when you're going to release it. And I think maybe it's like a month in advance where you should like have everything set to go. In this case, we wanted to put this out ASAP, obviously, you know, during graduation season. And it was already May, and kind of running all over the place to try to get this out. We sent it to our producer. My producer was like, hell yeah. And then he put it together really quickly. Bless his soul, because not everybody does that, not every producer. So that was amazing. You know, sent it over to my manager, moved it on, finally got it out. I think that was like the quickest release process I had ever done in my life. It was wild. But as soon as it was out, it was such a relief. Everybody, oh my gosh,
yeah,
finally out. But it's been really great to see everybody's reactions on TikTok and Instagram, and especially the comments, like that people will say they actually relate to it and they'll comment their actual experiences. And it's like, that's when you realize like it was all worth it. You know, every lyric that you wrote was worth it.
Yeah, I think it's such a relatable song because it's kind of like you're just like looking back and you're like, oh, but it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. And then like all these other crazy things came into the picture, like COVID and The Voice. And it's like, oh my gosh, I actually was only there in person for 2 years. And then like the last 2 years, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people too, they don't they'll think, obviously the song is called Your High School, it's about high school, etc. But it's not just about like high school, high school, high school. I'm obsessed with high school because obviously we move on.
Yeah.
And high school is just like a chapter of our life, and so is college, and so is everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But the song is mainly about the feeling of moving on,
Mm-hmm.
growing up. And I feel like for a lot of people, they struggle with that because who the hell wants to grow up? I mean, there are people that do, but like, there's some responsibilities that come with growing up, and so many things you have to face independently. And as somebody who had like this major gap in such a crucial part of somebody's life, such a crucial age, I feel like those 4 years in high school is when you really start to figure out things about you, things that you
Yeah.
like, you don't like. You just get to figure yourself out within those 4 years. So having like two of them just vanish, it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what else to say. It went by really quick. And going to college, it's bittersweet because I am really excited to go to college and, experience that. And especially at NYU, like there's so much to see, learn, and meet. Uh, but there's also a part of me that's like, that was quick, like
Mm-hmm.
time that I wanted before I went off to college. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And as your mom said, it flies by so quick. Like people always say it goes by quick. And then you're like, no, but seriously, it flies by. And the older you get, like you're like, whoa, time flies.
yeah, like I remember on my 18th birthday last year, I was just like, geez, I'm 18. I'm a legal adult. I could unfortunately do whatever I want.
I know.
It, um, where the hell did the time go? I remember when I was 15, and sometimes I think about it. Like the other day, I was actually on my computer and I was looking at like these different opportunities, and one of it was like big opportunity for high school students, and I was like, oh my god, I can't wait. Let me apply. And then I was like, wait, I'm not in high school anymore. I'm not a high schooler. I'm a
Yeah.
now. Well, about to be. And it's
Yeah.
like moments like that, like that's when it hits you. And I don't think it's fully sunk in yet, but eventually it will.
Yeah, and I think because summer tends to go by really quick and then you're going to school next month. So it's like enjoy these next couple of weeks because like once you get to school it's going to be like a whole different ball game and you're going to meet so many new people and like be immersed in like the whole city and the college. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for that.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's another chapter of our lives, and I'm excited. There's going to be so many people that I meet that are into the same things that I'm into when it comes to music. Uh,
Mhm.
you know, people from all over the place,
Right.
uh, not just Jersey and not just people from my high school, but people from all over the country, all over everywhere. Um, yeah, I'm really excited for that and just the connections that I'll make, not
Yeah.
only friendship wise, but also like career wise. It's going to be a really big eye opening experience for me because I am going to NYU Clive at their Tisch School, Clive Davis Institute of Recorded Music, which is like every musician's dream.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. I can't believe I got in. I
I
mean,
know.
I can, but it's still hard to believe because it's been such a dream of mine for a long time. Uh,
I'm I'm so proud of you. I think it's so amazing because it's like it's just to be accepted to your dream school. It's like I can't even imagine what that feels like because it's so amazing. Like think of all the amazing people who have walked through those doors and the professors that come in and like the mentors and just the fact that it's just going to be such a fun club to be a part of.
I am really excited about it. From what I've heard and from people's past experiences and stuff, like I've heard it's amazing.
Yeah.
Really nothing like it. So I'm excited to dive in and everybody who gets there is going to be in the same boat as I am. We've never really experienced anything like this before, but it'll
Yeah.
be really, and I love that it's a community of musicians and people who um, gravitate towards music in general. And that's going to be something that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life for sure.
Yes. Oh, I love that. So obviously in the past couple months, you've done so many amazing things, but I wanted to talk about when you went to go see Jessie J with your mom at LPR in New York City, because I remember seeing this moment on social media and you were right by the stage and Jessie J comes over to you and you're singing and she's singing. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. First off, iconic. Like, amazing. And I just kind of want to like bring it back to that night. Like, what was that night like for you?
It was like, I was telling you before, it was the craziest thing ever because, first of all, I wasn't even gonna go to the show because it was completely sold out. But my friend Joey was like, "Do you want 2 tickets?" Because he wasn't able to go. So last minute, he was like, "Do you want these tickets?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I want the tickets."
Yeah.
And so I went with my mom to like a bar at night, but it was so fun. And I remember we got there super early because we were like, let's get there early so we could be up front because it's LPR. I mean, you had said before that you'd gone to a concert where it is sitting down,
Yeah.
but this one was standing up, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the best. So we got there super early, and it was weird because we got there and there was like 3 people in front of us, and I was like, really? For a Jessie J concert, there's nobody here yet. But it did get pretty filled quickly. Anyway, so we got inside and the show was going on, and I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And then I took out my phone to like selfie record the stage because I was like, I was right here and the stage was like right there.
Yeah.
And so I saw her coming over and I was like, I pulled out my phone and she saw me recording and she grabbed my phone and started like, recording us together. And
Yeah.
so mic and she was in the middle of doing Bang Bang and she was singing the song and then she passed the mic to me and I was like, what? And then it was weird because it's so, because you were saying before, you were like, don't you think it was planned or something?
I thought it was planned.
It was not. It was literally the most like, wait, what's the word? I'm trying to think of the word. It was the most like unexpected thing. I'd never had to sing that quickly in my life on the spot.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, she put the mic on me and then she kept on going. And I thought she was just going to like finish off the set, but she kept on coming back to me. And I was like, oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
I always talk about like, what if that happened to me one day? Like people are always singing with artists and their fans. And I was like, what if that happened to me one day? And I was even saying it like the day of the concert. I was like, wouldn't it be crazy if I sang with Jessie J?
Yeah.
I was literally laughing a part of the time because it was just so unbelievable. And
Mm-hmm.
she's awesome, by the way. Jessie J is not just obviously an amazing singer, as we all know, but personality wise, she's so freaking funny and
Yeah.
carried the show the entire way. I mean, it was an acoustic evening. It was just her and her guitarist, and I feel like to do a whole set like that where it's just the artist and a musician, like you have to really have it together, because
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
amazing.
my, I just thought it was so cool because I was like, first off, she could have actually got down to anybody in the whole audience and put her microphone in front of their face. But for her to go over to you, and then you even said, like, what if I sang with her? I feel like maybe you said it and then it just like happened because someone was looking out for you. You know what I mean?
I think I like manifested that.
I know.
If I'm being honest, I think I manifested it. It was so crazy. And I was like, how out of everybody in the section that I was in did she come to me?
Right.
And I also think she's like kind of psychic. It's crazy. She like guessed my sign.
Yeah.
And then she like guessed my birthday but was off by like 5 days. Um crazy. She's very like emotionally connected, obviously, to her music,
Right.
but also just to her fans. And I loved seeing that night. It was super inspiring.
Yeah, and I love that you were there and you were able to capture everything from your iPhone. Like that's the crazy thing about now is like we can
Yes.
pull our phone out and get it on and have that record for, you know, ever and ever. Like you're always gonna have that. Like there was a time when we used to go to shows and there were no phones. So it's like we used to have like cameras, you know what I mean? Like disposable cameras.
And I was like, I was recording on my phone, obviously, so I didn't have anything else to record it. And I was like, Mom, take out your phone, take out your phone.
Yeah.
Quickly took it out. I've never seen her whip out her phone that quickly. And I was, please record the entire thing. Thank God she did that because she got the whole thing on video. And it was like I'm never going to erase that ever.
Ever. Yeah, and that's why I think it's kind of like you always need your phone like ready to go because you never know when something's gonna happen around you. Like it's wild.
Clearly, never know.
So I want to talk about these crazy riff videos that you've been posting on social media. So you've done like Ariana Grande, Tori Kelly. You're killing it. I love it because it's so fun to hear a song by like Tori Kelly and then you're like, okay, I'm going to sing my own version and then you do it. So like, let's talk about the importance of social media as a musician.
It's so important. I mentioned this before to you, but like, I feel like every independent artist these days needs to know how to function social media and how to really put themselves out there as an artist. And I'm not saying like you need to know everything about editing and everything about whatever it is, but just, you know, educating yourself a little bit on how to edit your own videos. You know, there's tons of YouTube videos out there and there's tons of sources. And like we live in a time now where being able to manage your own social media pages is like not even a plus in your artist package. It just should be, you know, integrated in there already.
Totally.
And so I started like editing when I was maybe 13. I would just look up videos on YouTube. There's so many apps nowadays that are super like expanded and there's just so many different like, I don't even know how to say it. There's just so many different things on iPhone apps these days where people could just do it straight from there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so cool because there are so many iPhone apps where you can like edit things down and like TikTok and Instagram and like all these other programs. And I love what you've done with your social media because you're always posting, whether it's a reel story, it's like a clip from one of the shows you did. You just reposted your blind audition from The Voice. And it was so funny that you posted it because you're like, I don't think I put this up in its entirety. And I'm like, right?
That was so random because the other day I was looking through my phone and I saw that video and I was like, wait, I don't think I've ever posted this full video.
Yeah.
So I just randomly put it up. And that's the thing about social media. You don't have to have a rhyme or reason to anything.
No, and I think it's so amazing because I remember watching that blind audition live as it was airing, and you blew me away. Like, I loved your rendition of Stay With Me. Like, I just, oh my gosh, so amazing. And I fell in love with you right on the spot when I saw that.
That was like definitely so challenging. And I feel like when I look back at it now, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way that this girl in this video had the nerve to go out there and do every riff that she did in that video. Obviously, not everything is perfection in that video, but like just seeing the what's it called? The ambition that I had to be able to do that it's pretty inspiring to look back on it now for myself. 'Cause like, you know, I could have gone out there and sung Stay With Me the way it is, and just to be able to put your spin on anything is always super scary because you never know how people are going to react to it. And not everybody loved my cover. Don't get me wrong, not everybody loved it. But seeing it now and just, I'm proud of myself for that moment, you know, to have been able to just really make it my own.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, some people may say it was a lot, but that's just who I am as a singer.
Honestly, I loved it. And I think the next step from here is just like your people call Sam Smith people, and you guys just do like the 2022 version of it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I loved it. Honestly, it was super interesting getting that song because
Yeah.
um, it's interesting with any song that you get. How are you gonna shape that to make it your own? Um, my goal was when people think of the song to think of the original, but also think of the Carolina Rial version or anybody who gets on a show like that. I think it's super important that you're able to know your technique and like what sets you apart as an artist. For me, it's always been riffing and belting. Like that's just always been my thing. And there's a bunch of artists out there who that's also their thing. So I think just sticking to what your thing is and sticking to what you believe you do best is always the way to go on any of these shows.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And I love when you riff and I love when you belt. And like, that's who you are as an artist.
Fun. Like when I sing, obviously, I've always been a very like perfectionist and I always want to nail every single thing I do. And not everything comes out the way I rehearse it when it's the actual show day. But at the end of the day, I just always have a lot of fun when I'm singing, and like riffing and belting for a lot of people I know is scary and challenging, and it is scary and challenging. But for me, it's also really fun. Creative with anything. There's so many different ways to place a riff.
Yeah.
So many notes in it. Yeah, it's just fun. I think that's the number one thing that any artist should think of when they're performing is to just have fun with it. As cliche as it sounds.
I love it though, because it's like what's fun for one person might not be fun for another person. So whatever you think is fun, lean into that, and that's who you become as an artist.
Yeah. And obviously there's ways to overdo it. Like don't go riff the entire song. But have fun with your riffs. That's the thing about being a vocalist. Obviously in music there's different, I don't want to say categories, but there's different like quote unquote departments. There's people who say they're vocalists. There are people who say they're producers, panelists. And I feel like I would definitely, consider myself an artist, but I love being like a 100% vocalist sometimes because it's just, there's so many different ways to make it your own or anything that you sing. And it's also really interesting. The more you sing, the more you discover about your voice. A few years ago, like I've always loved riffing, but I wouldn't have said it was like my thing or like what I thought makes me, wait, how do I say this? What I thought would be like the strongest part of me as a singer.
Yeah.
I would have never said that, but things change as the more that you sing and the more that you discover about your voice.
Yeah, and I think artistry is about discovery, right? Because like what's cool to you now, you might do it 6 months from now and be like, oh, I want to try this. Like this is something I've wanted to try, or maybe I've heard somebody do it this way and like want to see how I can put my spin on it.
Yeah. Somebody commented, for example, Yeba does riffs to express and not to impress. That is really smart. Express and not impress. I like that. I'm going to steal that.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Like, riffing has been around forever. And again, it's just fun. And I don't think people understand how hard it is to nail a riff exactly how you want to nail it every time. Because I think belting is something that like everybody can scream right at the top of their lungs, quote unquote. That's not what belting is, but essentially where you start. And I mean, anybody could really learn to control that and make that like a nice sound. But riffing is a whole other thing. It's a whole technical thing, and it's a lot that you need to be careful with. You could easily slide off a note. It's like when you're playing piano, like your finger can easily fall on another note. Yeah. Anyway, I could go through like a whole thing about riffing and running and belting and just like I'm definitely like a vocal nerd. But yeah, I'll stop there before it gets crazy.
But honestly, I think that's important. Like you need to be the best at your craft, because it's kind of like when they say you need to put all this time into your craft. Like, you need to know your craft inside and out. So when you call yourself a vocal nerd, like, that's not a bad thing. Like, that's a good thing, because the more time you put into it, the better and better you become. And like, maybe you do a riff like 40 times, right?
Yeah, and I think it just shows that you're passionate about it because, um, you know, when you look into it that much and when you really study other people's riffs, and then even when it comes to like nerves, when you get nervous about riffing in public, that's a good thing. Nerves aren't a bad thing. It means that you want to do good, and it means that you care about it.
Yeah.
If you weren't nervous and just went on there and just did whatever, you wanted because you wanted to, that wouldn't really be you being super like careful and really wanting to do good. It's just whatever to you, you know?
Yeah, and I think when you go into, the whole vocal thing and vocal technique and studying these riffs, and I'm sure you probably go on YouTube and you're just like, oh my gosh, I love that part, and then you listen to it.
That's honestly how I learned. I would watch back videos of people singing and just pause them and try to copy, and pause them and try to copy. And that, obviously, like, I didn't continue the rest of my career copying. You learn from videos like that, and then you learn how to do your own versions of riffs. And yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing because it's not everybody's thing. That's the thing. I've been saying thing a lot. But it's not everybody's thing, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. So you've actually spent a lot of time at 54 Below in New York City. I feel like you're there all the time. So talk to me about your 54 Below family and what you love most about performing there.
I have always, always, always wanted to sing at 54. It's like obviously it's a very iconic, very legendary venue.
Mm-hmm.
It's also like hard to get to sing there because you really have to, network, and you have to really like know people, and obviously, be a vocalist. And for a long time, I think I was a little bit intimidated to reach out or anything because I was like, am I good enough to sing at 54 Below? Like that's I think every musician thinks that, like, doubt yourself. Don't ever doubt yourself. You never know. So I was just like, whatever. So I reached out to somebody, and that's when I did my first show there. And then you get to meet a bunch of people there, and there's a lot of producers who sing in their own shows. And that's kind of how it branched out.
Mm-hmm.
And really great community that I have there and that I'm a part of. And just the amazing people that you get to meet. I did a show back in February, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. And I met Alyssa Ray from American Idol, just a lot of people. And it's interesting because the more that you sing there, the more you realize it's a little bit more of like a circle. Like everybody kind of gets to know each other within that circle. And I think it's super nice. But back to 54 Below and why I love singing there so much, it's because the crowd is always so great. I feel like that's one of the little places that will have like a really loyal crowd. Like I feel like people go there all the time, just every night. They're like, let me just go to 54 Below because there's shows going on there, and it's fun. It's genuinely fun, and it's people who will cheer you on and aren't like boring crowds. I don't mean to say it, but crowds can be boring. Like there's a lot of crowds that don't have reactions to when you really put your heart and soul into something. Totally. And it is what it is, but it's also a little bit sad to see an artist sing for a crowd and they don't react or anything. But at 54 Below, I've never, ever, ever encountered that. Everybody's just always super supportive, from the cast to the producers to the crowd to the staff in general. Everybody's super supportive, and it's just a really nice venue too. The ambiance, the environment. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And I think it's so cool because it really makes a difference, like the vibe and the energy and the people. Because if one of those things is off, then you're kind of like, you feel like a little bit.
I feel like people could get in their head a lot if they're in the middle of a set and they see people like not really vibing with them. I feel like it's discouraging to the artist.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but I think it's so cool because I feel like you're always posting about it. Like you're posting a video that you just performed there, or you're like, I'm gonna perform there, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're like always there. I love it.
I love it, honestly. I can't like ever get enough of that place. It's always awesome. Every time I've been there, I've never had a bad experience, like ever.
Hmm. And that's amazing because I think with all the venues in New York City, right, there's tons of them. And I've heard some, crazy things about certain venues, but I think with the 54 Below family, it's just like a whole nother vibe. It's positivity, it's family. And I think family is the best way to describe it because they're just so supportive and nurturing and happy for you and genuine. And it's cool to feel that in an artist community.
Yeah. There's been like times where I've forgotten lyrics and people will start cheering me. It's like, why are you cheering? I forgot my lyrics. But people are awesome, you know? And I feel like it's kind of rare to find that in the industry today because not everybody's like that, but that community has always been super great, super supportive, super sweet.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so amazing to hear.
It is, honestly, it's a lot of fun too.
Awesome. So, Carolina, tell the beautiful people right now what's coming up in your world.
What is coming up? Well, first and foremost, I'm going to college, I'm going to school, which is interesting. I feel like a lot of people, they'll tell me like, oh, but what about your music? It's like, if anything, I'm going to be doing music more now than I ever have.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop music. Of course, I'm going to keep on doing it. This is like, I would hope, going to be the peak or like what kind of leads me to even greater things. Because there's just so many people at NYU that are great and especially involved in the music industry and the professors and the mentors that they bring in. It's always really awesome. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm currently I've been promoting my newest single, Dear High School, that I talked about earlier. Yeah, it's been really fun. And I'm definitely still working on music right now. We have a show at 54 Below coming up this month. I'm trying to plan. I haven't said anything about this yet, but I am working on maybe doing a headline show sometime in the fall. That would be a really big dream come true.
Yeah.
Obviously, New York City, the world. Yeah, just a lot of things in the works right now. Some projects that I've been looking forward to announcing and talking about. Yeah, that's my life right now.
So many amazing things happening in your world. And guys, we pinned the comment below. Stream Dear High School, add it to your playlist, tell a friend, put it in your stories. What else can they do to support the single?
Share it. I think sharing is like the number one thing, just getting the word out. Yeah. And like engage with it. I think, when people share, it's one thing. When people comment and engage, it's always really great as an artist to see that.
Yeah, because people can like stuff, and I've seen people just like stuff, but when someone actually says like, hey, I love that song, it reminded me of, and then it's like a more genuine comment than just liking, because you can like anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just always super nice for an artist to see that too. Like on TikTok for Dear High School, the comments I've been getting about people's actual experiences with high school, it's been really cool to read through them and be like, oh my God, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Community is like, whether we're in high school now or we went to high school, like we all identify with that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. So that's all the questions I have for this evening. But Carolina, you're going to sing your song.
I am going to sing my song right now. Let me get it.
Awesome. Guys, hang tight.
All righty. Dear high school, you weren't what I wished for. Wait, let me lower the volume. Hold on. We're starting again. Dear high school, you weren't what I wished for. There's tears and confetti covering the floor. As I walk the halls one final time, think of my mom saying 4 years will fly by. Dear high school, how am I supposed to move on when I wanna turn back the clock? You put push me out ready or not. How do I face my future without everyone from my past? You know my backstory, everything about me, dear high school. How do I find my place when you're all I've ever known? A safe place to grow, now you tell me to go, dear high school. Will this feeling ever really sink in? To be honest, kinda feels like I'm dreaming, yeah. When I get to thinking of packing my things, loading the car, God, it's moving too quickly. Dear high school, stop pushing me out the door. How do I face my future without everyone from my past? You know my backstory, everything about me, dear high school. How do I find my place when you're all I've ever known? A safe place to grow, now you tell me to go, dear high school. Oh, 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 wanna turn back the clock. You push me out ready or not. How do I face my future without everyone from my past? You know my backstory, everything about me, dear high school. How do I face my future without everyone from my past? A safe place to grow, now you tell me to go, dear high school. Oh, 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 yeah. Dear high school, you were what I wished for.
Yes! Carolina!
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that beautiful song with the audience. So, do you have any final words for the room?
I would like to say thank you. Of course, I always love thanking everybody because honestly, it's the reason why I keep on doing what I do. So thank you so much for supporting me, for supporting my music. There's going to be so much in store, and I can't wait to share with you all. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, a lot of good stuff coming from Carolina. Guys, if you don't already, please make sure to follow her on all her social, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, website. What else am I forgetting? Everywhere.
That's it. Yeah, all social media, basically.
All social media. She's everywhere. She has a lot of good stuff coming out. And guys, if you don't already, please make sure to follow me. I'm Ashley Live. This is Vibin with Ashley Live. Add Dear High School to your playlist. Share it with a friend. Comment, reach out to Carolina, and follow both of our journeys. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.